1890, that sort of thing. And it is seriously at the end of its lifespan. And it's been patched up with flash band on the skews, and that cupola is leaking, and that bay window is a disaster area. But it was ascertainable, in my opinion. We did a survey of this recently at the Highland Hotel. I think it's important to get to grips with these fundamentals before launching into a major project. This again is a subtly nuanced piece of information you could extract from this, because this was probably more or less comprehensively re-roofed in 1989, but it needs work doing, not 100% re-roofing, and not nothing by a long shot. A lot of people think, I think, that there are various protections. There's the home report, there's whether or not you've got a statutory notice, and there's whether or not there's a completion certificate on the building. Well, this building, very specialized building, was built about 4 years ago. We inspected it about a year ago. We identified a mass of contraventions of building regulations in it, means of escape, etc., that were just not right. It wasn't fit for purpose. It didn't answer what the client wanted. It didn't answer the client's brief at all. It was unmaintainable in all sorts of respects. This building is now going to have literally millions fixing those problems. You go to building control and say, well, you issued a completion certificate for this. Oh, yes, so we did. Oh, well, yeah. But you'll have to do all those fire precautions things because they're all wrong. So anybody who thought that was protection. And then here's another interesting case, and this takes me on to other things. I'll get around to time.
Just a couple of minutes.
I've got a bit more time.
5 minutes.
I'll wrap it on. This is a house that our client bought as with the intention of turning it into a hotel. Now, it's a splendid house, absolutely fantastic, listed building, not terribly bad order for a sort of country house, reasonably in good order. So this client buys it almost on impulse. It's so cheap, so cheap compared to a flat in London or something. And they and what do? They go and they instruct a very high-level firm of interior designers to design the fit-out of it into a hotel. Beautiful, pictures of beds with fancy drapes on and all this stuff. Bathrooms, the whole bit. They're commissioned to get listed building consent and planning. They bang the thing in, and the planners go, we don't really believe in this. What about, have you bottomed out your fire precautions and other things? Oh, no, we haven't. Oh, okay. All right. Fire engineer, we'll get a fire engineer, that's all that out. Fire engineer comes along. Local building control goes, huh? That doesn't make any sense at all. London-based fire engineer that doesn't work. So they get a Scottish fire engineer. And then that doesn't, well, that gets them a little bit further forward, but then they think, oh, well, we need a planning consultant to help us through this. Planning consultant? Yeah. And then a little bit after that, or at the same sort of time, they think, well, we need a contractor, actually, because we've got to get on with this. And then eventually they think, somebody I think suggests to them they might need an architect. So we come in, and we have to start unpicking and unraveling this unholy mess with a deadline pressing on us to get the thing sorted out. But one of the questions I asked him at the very start of all of this was, could we see the building survey when you bought it? Oh, no, we didn't get a building survey. and then this is a lesser hotel example, if you like. This I think probably happens all the time, but it's very similar. The client has invested in this hotel, not too bad, reasonably commercial proposition, but really tired and worn out. And so he goes to HIE for grant aid. HIE grant aid is based on, you know, improving the image of Scotland and getting things right. So they'll grant aid interior design. It gets an interior designer onto it. The interior designer rubs his hands and says the big whacking great big fee for pure design. And then the interior designer said, well, that's as far as I go, I stop there. What you need now is a project manager or a QS or something, you know, to take this forward. And so the client comes to us and you say, well, yeah, but has anybody looked at the fabric of the building? Has anybody considered the services? No, but we've got a budget. We'll just steal a bit off the interior design budget for that. Well, yeah. Well, anyway, we're sorting that out bit by bit. But why does it have to be like that? Why does this process have to be like that? And this was an interesting one. We did a pre-acquisition survey of this house, and the client was very masterful and forceful, knew what he wanted, and told us he understood the process. He was in charge, and his wife as well. She'd run a £100 million project manager, so they knew all about the building process. And he actually ran the company that owned Grand Designs. He was the CEO of it, so he really did know about the process. And well, for a start, we gave him a report on the roof and the building fabric and all the rest of it, which he kind of appreciated, but said, I'm not going to spend that much money. Don't leave it, really, basically. So we got going on. Oh, I need a roofer. Get a roofer to give me a report. So we got two roofers to give reports, and they said, you know, that we could do it for this. At that stage, a roofer will always underprice it because it's not a real job at that stage, and they can only get into trouble by putting a realistic price on it. But anyway, we weathered all that storm, and eventually he bought it, and we then went through the process of specifying what needed to be done and getting quotes and so on. And it was exactly as I'd said from the start, and he accepted that in the end. So that was okay. But he also wanted to build an extension onto it, kitchen extension, which, you know, that process, it's come out very well. It's very nice in the end. But at the pre-start meeting, we went to pre-start meeting with the contractor and went through the payment processes and so on. And he said, I paid the contractor. I thought I paid GLM. What's this all about? No. What do you guys do? Don't I pay you? Oh. Which he could. I mean, I guess we could have done a turnkey package for him and so on. But it seemed to me to be pretty blindingly obvious that that was what the architect's role was and how that works. But he didn't get that, not a little bit. The £100 million projects and all the rest of it hadn't educated him, nor had Grand Designs educated him in what the process actually consists of. So I just thought I would mention this statutory notice thing. People, that should, anybody investing in a building with a common repairing liability obligation in Edinburgh ought to be very, very afraid of that logo up there. This one I went to see quite recently. This is going to be a core celebrity, I think. The council, this building here goes on there, and it also goes on there. But the council were dealing with this. This is one ownership or one block, if you like. And they came along and said it needed work doing. Everybody acknowledged it needed work doing. £370,000 to be spent on this building. It's gone past 2 million now, and you know the owners in this place are really, really panicking. And this I don't know if it really shows here, but if you stood and looked at it, this effectively, this half represents what it was like before, the condition of it. And any experienced person in this room who knows about stonework, I think would conclude that it doesn't need a great deal doing to it. get away with it. And this is what they've done to it. Stone repairs everywhere. They've got lead dressed over that, lead dressed over that. You know, they've gone absolutely berserk on that. So as I say, statutory notices, it's not voodoo. You can actually find out what the condition of building is. You won't find it out from the home report, but it is possible to discover the condition of the building before you launch into doing up a flat, converting, whatever. So at the start of this process, what would be nice would be if people would know what questions they should be asking. And will it fall down is not the only question to ask about the building. The standard advice from am I running over?
You're fine.
No? Okay. The standard advice from the valuation surveyors, I know there's about at least one in the room. I don't mean to be too down on them, but the standard advice is get a roofing report from a contractor, or get a dry rot report from a dry rot specialist or whatever. I mean, that to me is just crackpot. I don't know why that goes on and on and on and on. Why do people expect that would actually give them independent professional advice? And would you trust the home report? Well, I wouldn't. Has it got a statutory notice or not got a statutory notice or whatever? That will not help you. You know, for one thing, they've lost half of them. They've destroyed half of three-quarters of their records in the course of the corruption scandal. They don't know where the hell they are with statutory notices in that department. But they are dangerous still. They've closed it down for the time being, but they've got plans to start it all up again. So they're a great threat to any property owner or developer of common property. And has it got a completion certificate? Well, I mean, I think any architect here knows how feeble a protection for clients that would be, whether or not it's got one. So that's my bit.
Thank you, David. And as I said in my introduction,